Alright, welcome back to Beam Mother Reviews, everyone. We're back from New York Comic Con, and now we've got a fresh review for you here. This is none other than the unstoppable force, the Juggernaut. This is the brand new maquette from Sideshow Collectibles. An absolute beast of a statue, as you can see here. But should you let this behemoth bulldoze his way into your collection? Well, we're going to get in the review. We're going to talk about sculpt, design, paint, quality. I'll give you my 3 favorite things about this statue. So let's not waste any time. Let's get in the review right now. Alright, so we have the Juggernaut here, of course, long-time nemesis of the X-Men. Actually debuted way back in 1965, X-Men number 12. So he's been wreaking havoc on their lives since almost day one. And really, he's become a fan favorite villain in the decades since then. Cain Marko is his real name, and in fact, he is the stepbrother of none other than Charles Xavier. That's right, Professor X and the Juggernaut are stepbrothers, and they did not have the best of childhoods together, really. Cain Marko, he was a bit of a bully towards Charles, but was actually kind of bullied himself. His father was abusive towards him, and he really resented Charles because he felt that his father favored Charles over himself. And that's where this really deep, intense hatred of Charles Xavier developed. And really, since then, his main motivation is revenge. He wants nothing other than to destroy Charles Xavier, and he'll stop at nothing to make that happen. Now, the Juggernaut, contrary to how he's shown in the movies, is not actually a mutant. He gets his powers from the magical crimson gem of Cyttorak, and that gem transforms him into what you see here. Basically, an unstoppable force of nature. He's got near limitless strength. He's practically invulnerable. He doesn't need air or water to survive. Nothing can really harm him. And once he starts on his way, once he gets momentum towards a target, pretty much nothing can stop him. Nothing can stand in his way. That's why they call him the Juggernaut. So, enough background. We're going to dive into this statue here. We're going to start off with the sculpt and design next. Alright, so the Juggernaut was sculpted by the absolutely tremendous artist William Harbottle. Now, he is also responsible for the other maquettes in the X-Men line. Magneto, Rogue, Gambit. Those 3 are absolutely amazing. And Juggernaut is absolutely no exception to that rule. He and the design team at Sideshow Collectibles really came up with something special here on the base. I absolutely love this base. You can see it's sort of this dual environmental base. On the back side here, you've got the X-Mansion. You've got the old wooden floorboards with this great wooden finish to it. Looks very realistic. You can see the cross-section of the floor joist structure, all detailed in there. It looks great. I love how the boards are bursting under the pressure of his feet. You got these clouds of dust forming as he wreaks havoc on the X-Mansion. And then he's bursting through this great big door, and you can kind of envision what it would have looked like. A big round door with a sliding X on the face of it. And he's basically burst through it like there's nothing there. I mean, like a hot knife through butter. And you got the debris flying all over. You got this big chunk on his fist. And then you got the front side, the Danger Room side, which matches with Rogue and Gambit. Absolutely phenomenal base. It looks absolutely fantastic in person. Adds tons of story and character to this piece. Now the Juggernaut, he's no slouch either. You'll notice his costume pretty much straight out of the comic books. This is the comic book Juggernaut we've been waiting for, but they have amped up that detail that we expect in a modern statue. Look at his boots. You got the soles of his boots. All detailed. The texturing on the boots, the leather texture there, the leather on the upper part of his shirt and the wristbands. You got the metallic bands on his fingers and down his arms as well. Really worn, scratched up, dented metal. This is an experienced Juggernaut. He's been in a few battles. The pants, the lower part of his shirt, really nice fine textured detail there as well. The seams, the folds in the fabric are all sculpted in there. It looks fantastic. I will say the skin texture is maybe a little bit too intense. That maybe could have been toned down just a tad for me, but it still looks pretty good. My favorite part is probably the helmet. Great finish to this helmet, first of all. Again, an experienced Juggernaut. You can see the dents, the scratches. It's really kind of a worn, battle-worn helmet. But what I like best is his head and the helmet are two separate pieces. You can see, the spaces in around his head inside that helmet. And actually, I didn't notice this, and you wouldn't notice this until you get it in hand and start to put it together. When you take his helmet off, there's actually a fully sculpted and painted head inside with hair, ears, all the works there. So that was a really kind of cool attention to detail type thing that you notice when you put the statue together. So awesome, awesome piece. Tremendous sculpt and design throughout. One little nitpick I have about the sculpt is the armband here on his left arm. You'll notice the one on his right arm. It really kind of follows the contour of his muscles. This one kind of bridges the gap between his bicep and the tricep there. And so when you look in that gap, there's a kind of a chunk of resin in there. That's good on one hand because it stiffens it up, keeps that piece from breaking. But I kind of wish that it followed the contour a little bit so you didn't have that quite as big a chunk in there. But it's not something you're going to see when it's on display, so it's not that big of a deal. Overall, love the concept, love the base, great sculpt and design overall. This statue looks amazing. All right, let's quickly run through the paint on this piece. Overall, I think it turned out really, really nice. Nice dark finish to the floorboards of the X Mansion here. And then you got that sort of blue overspray on the Danger Room side, gives it that high-tech kind of holographic feel, the Danger Room. Juggernaut, great accuracy to the comic books. You got that orangey brown through the midsection and on the boots. The browns on the rest of the costume. Lots of different shading and highlights in there. Turned out very, very nice. A bit of a metallic finish to the armbands and the helmet. The teeth and lips look very good. The eyes would be stickers, but they also turned out very good. So very nice paint job on this piece. I want to talk about the skin tones as well. Much more realistic skin tone on this guy than some of the other Sideshow pieces I've reviewed recently. Daredevil, Wolverine, Magneto all kind of had this grayish sort of finish to the skin. This guy's got more of that pinky, fleshy finish to it. And when you look close, you can see that bluish, the bluish veins under the skin there as well. Very, very nice job overall on the paint. Really not much to complain about on the paint job. There's one minor nitpick I have, and it's on the hands. I'll take this off and I'll show you what I mean. So you can see the thumbnail. They kind of darken the thumbnail to separate it from the rest of the hand there, which is fine. But you can see the fingernails of his fist there underneath, and they didn't paint those. So minor detail, you're not going to see it, but it's those minor details that can really elevate a statue. It doesn't take away from the statue, but if they had done it, it would have elevated this piece even higher in my book. So minor nitpick on the paint, but overall I think it turned out very well. All right, so we're going to run through the production quality on this piece really quick. First thing you're going to notice, inside the box you get an assembly guide. This is actually pretty helpful because there's a lot of little pieces here, and this shows you exactly where everything's going to go. So nice to have that. I definitely used it for this guy. One thing I'll note, it does not show this outer piece of debris on his arm. These are actually two separate pieces. This lower piece connects straight to the arm. The outer piece connects to the lower piece of debris. This isn't shown on that guide. It's obvious where it goes, but just keep that in mind. Now, one thing I wish Sideshow would do is add that little packaging photo telling you where the pieces go in the box. Someday we all have to pack these statues back up, and that's super helpful to have when that day comes. Now, I was really impressed with the engineering on this piece. It went together super smooth. All the pieces have nice strong magnets. I was a little concerned with how the body was going to fit into the base, whether it would be difficult to do. There's a big metal peg under his right foot. His left foot connects to this part of the door frame with a magnet. Anytime you have two connection points like that, it can create, potential alignment issues. Not on this piece. His body dropped in nice and smooth, so really easy assembly on this guy. Quality-wise, I mean, it's obviously a beast of a statue. A little over 27 inches tall, over 2 feet long. And anytime I see a statue this big, my first thought is, what's it going to feel like? Is it going to have that cheap eggshell, very light feel to it? Sometimes big statues have that. Not this guy. He's got a nice, heavy, high-quality feel to him. The base and the body each weigh a little over 20 pounds. And then we add in all the other parts. I mean, this beast is pushing nearly 50 pounds. It's a great, high-quality feeling piece. You definitely feel like you got your money's worth. So, quality-wise from Sideshow, I'm really impressed. I think they did a great job with this guy. Juggernaut turned out really, really nice. Alright, so quickly, switch out parts for the Juggernaut. I'll make this real quick, actually, because there are none. But, if you do buy the exclusive version, you actually get this little Kitty Pryde accessory. It's almost like a little 1/4 scale mini bust. And you can set her down onto the Juggernaut's base here. Just adds that little extra story element to the statue. One thing to note, there's no connection, physical connection between Kitty and the base. She just sits loose on there, so be careful. You don't want to knock her over. If you don't want to display her there, she does come with a separate base here, so you can display her anywhere in your X-Men collection. I actually think this is a pretty cool accessory. She turned out very nice, actually. She actually comes in 5 parts if you include that base for such a small piece. I was kind of surprised. One minor nitpick, she's got a little bit of the googly eye. It's not too bad. If you look at her from the right side of her face, you don't really notice it. You look at her head on, it's a little bit there. Not too bad, and overall, I think it's a really cool accessory to have. I think we'd all like to have a full-size Kitty Pryde premium format or something, but for now, this is what you get. It's a really cool accessory for the Juggernaut. Alright, so we're going to wrap things up here for the review. This is the exclusive Juggernaut Maquette from Sideshow Collectibles. And I think this statue turned out absolutely fantastic. When you ran through the sculpt by William Harbottle, great detailing on the classic comic style, awesome concept for the base, tons of texturing throughout. They really did a nice job there. Paint. The paint is very nice and clean. I like the more pinkish, sort of realistic, fleshy skin tones. One thing I forgot to mention is the dirt staining around the soles of his boots. Adds that little bit of realism to things. And overall, nice clean paint job. Love the colors. Very accurate to the comic book with the orange and the brown. Quality. I mean, the piece went together really nice and smooth. Much smoother than I anticipated. And really nice, heavy quality feel as well. I mean, this thing's pushing almost 50 pounds, as I said. I mean, this is a beast of a piece, and if you feel like you're getting a high quality statue, which is really important. My 3 favorite things about this statue: love the base, love the concept with the X mansion in the back, and then the danger room on the front. He's smashing through that door. Tons of detail there, lots of story and character there. Love the base. I think it's fantastic. I love the helmet and how the head and the helmet are 2 separate pieces, and they spared no detail in there. That's a fully sculpted and painted head inside that helmet. You can clearly see that he's wearing it. They're 2 separate pieces, so great job there. Nice attention to detail. And then first and foremost, my favorite thing, the presence. This is a beast of a statue, as I said. Big, heavy, tons of size and presence in your collection. Anyone who walks into your room and sees this guy, they're gonna be wowed. It looks absolutely amazing. Great statue from Sideshow. Turned out fantastic. The Juggernaut, Maquette, and then of course if you get the exclusive version, you also get Kitty Pryde as an accessory. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the review. Stay tuned to the channel. We're gonna have more reviews coming as always. So as I said, hopefully you guys enjoyed it. We'll talk to you guys soon.